Tyler, both teams struggled to score early in the game and through the entire first half, but when the road team comes in and they cannot buy a basket, is that a time where you guys have got to take advantage of that and build up some sort of lead in that first half?
I mean, yeah. The ball wasn't really going in the first half. I felt like in the beginning part, we were getting some decent looks and the ball just wasn't falling in. But we relied on our defense in the first half, and that usually keeps us in the game. That's how Wisconsin's always played. When the ball's not going in, we got to rely on our defense. And in that second half, we just kind of went away from that, and we saw the ball go in a few times, and we just quit playing defense.
Up front here for Chris, please.
Tyler, Chucky had struggled. I think he shot 3 times at Maryland the other day and went scoreless in the first half here. What can you say about the confidence you guys have in him as a teammate and his ability to kind of shake himself free of that?
I mean, we got a lot of confidence in Chucky. He runs the show out there. The ball's in his hands. He gets the offense going. He's a great defender as well, and balls just hasn't been going in. I know he's seen a few good looks that haven't really fallen, but he's just got to keep going out there and keep giving it his all.
Right up front here.
With the depth of the league, there isn't really a get-right game. How would you just describe the mood in the locker room and how you guys are you guys drained, exhausted, for both of you?
Well, it's just the Big Ten. You're going to go through some spurts where things aren't going your way, but it's how you respond. I know this team is pretty good. We all rely on each other, and that's what we got to do right now. We got to pick each other up and show up at practice and work hard.
Jim.
Tyler, kind of along those lines, you've been around for 4 years. You've been through some of these slumps within a season. What's the best way to get out of one?
I think these off days will be nice. Kind of get a little mental break. Not using that as an excuse, but we just got to show up for practice, know what we got to work on, and do it. We got to translate that to the game.
Todd.
Max, after you took the lead in the second half there, they obviously went on a run that defined the end of the game. How did that play out defensively from your perspective? What could you guys have done better to get some stops in that stretch?
Yeah, just being more together. Work on being more together in those times. Like you said, kind of get a lead there in the second half, and our defense kind of dwindles a little bit, goes down the drain. So, playing that for a full 40 minutes, and everybody being locked in from the time they get on the floor. So,
Jeff in the corner here, fellas.
Tyler, the guys from Illinois, I know you missed that first game, but who had big points, did not do as much today, but Matthew Meyer, and you've played him once when he was at Baylor and now today. What makes him so difficult to guard or to keep off the glass or whatever he does well for them?
I mean, yeah, he's playing great basketball right now. He's attacking the offensive glass. He can shoot it from anywhere pretty much. He can get downhill. He's been playing pretty good offense, and we didn't have an answer for him tonight.
Right here, guys. Go ahead.
Max, first game back, how did you feel about your defensive intensity, and really, how did you feel about the energy in the first half with it being such a defensive showdown at first?
I mean, like we said, I think that we felt like the energy was there the whole game, except for that little spurt in the second half, which, we got to play for a full 40 minutes. But it felt good to be back out there with the guys again, being at home in front of those fans. But, yeah, it was fun being back out with the team for sure.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Tyler, Max just said about needing to play for a full 40 minutes. Has this team done that enough this year put a consistent game together for 40 minutes?
I feel like in the beginning of the year we were doing a pretty good job of limiting the stretches or the runs that the other teams would have, and we would respond well. Right now, we just haven't been able to get a stop on defense. They go on their runs, and then we call a timeout, and nothing really happens, or they just continue to do whatever they want to do.
Todd in the back, please. Mike.
Tyler, the 2 quick fouls you picked up in the second half, how frustrating was that? That it kind of happened off the ball and it got you back on the bench for a while there and things happened. We couldn't be a part of it there.
Yeah, well, that's on me. I got to be better for sure for my teammates. That's the bottom line. I just got to be better.
Obviously, appreciate the crowd and everything. I thought they were terrific. Really a tale of two halves. Offensively, both teams struggled the first half. Second half, and I thought we guarded well until that stretch from about the 10-minute mark to the 4-minute mark when they went on a run. I believe it was 22-4. So we had done a lot of good things defensively, which was good to see because we have not been good defensively the last game and a half or so. So to get that back was a positive sign. But obviously I can't. It makes it really hard when we have your better players on the bench in foul trouble and for extended periods of time. And felt when Steve got his fourth that really changed the tone of the game, or when he had to go sit. But I appreciate the efforts. Guys played hard. We'll shoot the ball better at times, but defensively, I was glad to see we got some of our toughness back and our grit. Questions?
Jeff?
Tyler talked about that too, the defense, but he also said that it's got more consistent. Over 40 minutes, because you guys had that lead. And his quote was, "We just stopped guarding after we saw the ball going."
Yeah, well, and you got your 7-footer goes out of the lineup. That's part of it with all that experience that he has. And we've got to put ourselves in positions better, Tyler specifically, where you're not sitting for 15 minutes in the first half and then turn around and get 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes of the second half. I mean, that's no team can put your better players on the bench like that, and you held this team to 61 that's can score the ball in a variety of ways, as we've seen, but another guy's got to get better. It's obvious Connor's a freshman, and Connor has a lot of defensive learning to still acquire, and it showed. You got a senior in Matt Meyer that really took it to him at times, and it's an area that he's got to continue to grow and get better and understand how important, not that he doesn't understand, but it's that's an area that he's got a ways to go.
Todd in the back, Coach.
Greg, was there anything specific and fundamentally that you thought your guys got away from in that stretch that they went 22-4? Or was it just kind of
defensively?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, a couple of them were straight line drives to the rim. We same side helped off dribble penetration once. I think Epps hit a 3 in the left wing. Other things, but I mean, a lot of it was straight line. Meyer got to the rim. And when he gets going, he's an older version, bigger version of what Connor is when he has those days when the ball starts going in and he feels really confident. So I'll look through the tape and see where we, was it just straight line? Did we not rotate? It's really hard to rotate when the ball's coming at the rim that fast. And Shannon made a couple plays there too. I thought he got a 3-point play, and Meyer and some offensive rebounds that kept possessions alive. And then on our end, it was tied, and we had, or even had the lead after they took a timeout. I thought we had some really good looks. Connor, we ran a few things for him. It's one of those days. He hasn't had many of them where he hasn't been able to put the ball in the basket. Today was a struggle for him offensively.
Right here, Coach.
Coach, you had Tyler Wahl sit for the 15 minutes in that first half. With the way that the offense worked, only 16 points, do you have any regrets about the decision? Would you do something different if you had it again?
No, for two reasons why. Number one, he picked up 2 so fast that I felt he needed to just calm down. And as long as we were hanging there, until right at the end, that's when they went up 4. As long as we were within striking distance like that, I was going to save it, given the fact that he had gotten 2 so fast, save those 3 for the second half. And obviously you got 2 right away in the second half. So, but no, as long as the score was tight, if it started to flip the other way, I would have probably used him.
Jim in the back.
Greg, you've been through stretches like this as a head coach, as an assistant coach. What's the best way to pull out of something when this happens within a season?
Well, I think the number one thing, Jim, is you got to get back to being who you are. And that was a conversation we've had with these guys and talked about where have we strayed from who we are. You can't fix everything, but the number one thing by and large was what we were not doing defensively. And that's been the emphasis. Getting Max back helps that. It doesn't fix everything. But for the most part, seeing that intensity and toughness and grit, as I mentioned at the outset, return is good, because we can't stray. That has to be a part of who we are with this team. and that has to be consistent. It's got to be, like I mentioned before, it's got to be 40 minutes. It can't be 32. And then offensively, the game's got to come to each individual, and we can't press. And again, you can't, in these type of games against really good teams, you can't have your horses in foul trouble. So, but getting the defensive mindset back to where we have been is the first step.
Chris, and then Todd.
Coach, Chucky struggled Wednesday at Maryland and then went 0 for 5 in the first half today. Obviously, he had that big second half. How much confidence do you have in him to kind of shoot his way out of that and for the shots to start falling when he's getting good looks?
Yeah, as long as that's what I told him at halftime, and even when he came out once in the first half, I said, you've gotten good looks, keep knocking them down. The timeouts when we huddled there, and even in the second half, he was over by me once, and I said, hey, you're a really good player. If it's good ones, keep letting them fly. So it's good. He's had a rough week, obviously, with the personal things that he deals with back home with his friend. But it was good to see him, get the lid off the second half and play. And that's the Chucky that we all know and the Chucky that we need going forward. So hopefully that's behind us.
Todd.
Max is diving around in the first half with a fat lip, and that's kind of the way he is, I know.
Yeah.
But did you feel like he had a little extra in him, knowing how much it felt like the team needed him to do something?
That's how he is. I mean, that's every day. That was yesterday in practice. I mean, we're doing defensive things. He's taking charges. That's what we missed with him out, and it's good to have him back because he brought that toughness to us today, and we got to continue to build off the good things that happened today and correct the things that didn't go well.
2 more for
Jim.
Coach right here, and then Jim in the back.
Yeah.
Coach Underwood had said that he liked the matchup with Matthew Meyer on Connor Recegian. Did you
I
have
didn't like it.
Did you have any thoughts of trying to change the look or maybe double Meyer when Recegian was on him because of the defensive abilities?
How would we double Meyer? What do you want to? Got any ideas?
Running a blitz at him too.
Running a blitz at him. Okay. Well, we looked at putting him on different guys. I'm not going to put him on Terrence Shannon, right? I'm not going to put him on a point guard. Then we go to Hawkins, and when Hawkins gets little guys on him, he goes to the post. So the matchup that was best suited for Connor was Matt Meyer. So because otherwise, who do we put on Terrence Shannon? Then if I take Max and put him on Meyer, Max did a terrific job on. That's the difference in the maturity of Max and the experience. You got a freshman in Connor and a senior in Meyer and a junior in Klesmit, and just the experience and the strength that's been gained. It was a senior that saw a freshman and took advantage of it. So that's a good challenge for Connor to get better, and teammates need to help him. Older guys need to, everybody's gone through it. I'll name you a bunch of freshmen that have played here over the last 25 years that weren't I won't say it, struggled defensively, to put it mildly. And over time, they get better. So Connor will get better.
Jim, final question.
You hit on this earlier, but guys maybe pressing offensively. Do you see some of that? Does that explain what's going on in that?
Well, I think, I don't know if they're pressing offensively. I think the thing that, for example, if Tyler's in foul trouble, he's coming back in trying to make so much happen in a small amount of time. So the key to getting in the flow of the game is to not be in foul trouble. And as I told them, I got plenty of assistant coaches. I don't need any more. He's got to we need him on the floor. And it disrupts his rhythm. It disrupts our team's rhythm. And then when he comes back in, there's not a 20-point play. So he's got to stay patient, stay calm, and find his groove back. But you eliminate those issues if you don't get yourself in foul trouble.